I'm standing in my front yard, watching as my ex-boyfriend's belongings are piled high on the lawn, drenched in the pungent smell of fermented coyote urine. It's a moment of pure satisfaction, the culmination of a long and tumultuous journey. But to understand how we got here, we need to go back to the beginning. My ex-husband was a complex man, to say the least. He was pushy and demanding, always wanting to explore the boundaries of our relationship. He had a fascination with open relationships, but with a twisted set of rules that seemed to cater only to his desires. I wasn't thrilled about it, but I tried to keep the peace, hoping that it would eventually pass. Meanwhile, my career was thriving. I was excelling in my job, earning accolades and recognition from my superiors. It was a welcome distraction from the chaos that was my personal life. That's when I met my coworker, a goofy and charming guy who quickly became a close friend. We bonded over our daily banter, and I found myself looking forward to our conversations. But little did I know, our friendship was about to take a dramatic turn. He was supposed to leave for a training program, but instead, he showed up at the office, looking like a puppy who had just lost its favorite toy. I tried to cheer him up, and we eventually started hanging out outside of work. My ex-husband took notice and decided that he wanted to get in on the action, pushing for a threesome and demanding video evidence. I was hesitant, but my ex-husband's persistence eventually wore me down. The situation quickly spiraled out of control. My ex-husband became increasingly aggressive and possessive, picking fights over the smallest things. I was exhausted and frustrated, feeling like I was walking on eggshells around him. The tension finally boiled over one night, when my ex-husband came home from work, walked past me without a word, and then proceeded to smash a pair of sunglasses in his fist like a crazed villain. I was terrified, and I knew I had to get out of there. I locked myself in the bedroom, but my ex-husband began beating on the door, screaming that I wasn't allowed to lock doors in his house. I made the mistake of unlocking it, and he grabbed me by the shoulders, slamming me against the wall like a rag doll. The incident ended with my coworker and me being separated to different shifts, and my ex-husband facing charges for assault. The trial was a grueling experience, but I took the stand and told my story, revealing the twisted details of our open relationship and the videos that my ex-husband had demanded. The defense lawyer tried to trap me with questions about my relationship with my coworker, but I saw it coming and turned the tables on him. My ex-husband eventually got off with a slap on the wrist, but the experience left me shaken and determined to move on. I started dating my coworker, and we fell deeply in love. We were happy, or so I thought, but then I found out that he was cheating on me with another coworker. I was devastated, and my world came crashing down. I took him back, hoping that he would change, but it was a mistake. He continued to lie and cheat, and I eventually discovered that he had been carrying on an affair for months, all while telling me that I was abusive and depressed. I was done. I kicked him out, and he left with his belongings, but not before I made sure he knew that he would be paying for what he had done. I contacted his supervisor, suggesting a random drug test, knowing that he loved THC gummies. He failed the test and quit his job the next day, trying to avoid the consequences. But I wasn't done with him yet. I took him to small claims court, suing him for the $4,500 in rent and phone payments that he owed me. The mediation was a joke, with him trying to claim that he didn't owe me anything because we didn't have a formal lease. But I had the receipts, and I wasn't afraid to use them. The judge eventually ruled in my favor, but not before my ex-boyfriend tried to pull off a ridiculous defense, claiming that he shouldn't have to pay rent because he bought groceries. I looked him dead in the eye and asked, "Did you eat the groceries?" His response was priceless. Well, yeah. It was a moment of pure absurdity, and I couldn't help but laugh. The trial was a long and arduous process, but in the end, justice was served. My ex-boyfriend was ordered to pay me back, and I was finally able to start rebuilding my life. But the universe had one last surprise in store for me. The judge who presided over the trial was none other than my ex-husband's former defense attorney, the man who had to sit through the testimony about the threesomes and the videos. It was a twist of fate that I couldn't have scripted, and it left me speechless. The judge smiled and said, "Moving to Alaska isn't going to save him from paying." It was a moment of pure vindication, and I knew that I had finally found closure. Now, I'm waiting for my ex-boyfriend to pay me back $50 at a time. It's a small price to pay for the pain and suffering he caused me, but it's a start. And as I look back on the journey that brought me here, I'm reminded that sometimes the universe has a way of balancing the scales. My ex-boyfriend thought he could get away with cheating and lying, but in the end, he's the one who's paying the price. And I'm left to wonder, was I right to take him to court, or should I have just let him walk away?
If you made it this far, thank you for watching. Drop your verdict in the comments below, subscribe for new stories every single day, and hit the notification bell so you never miss one.